Hi everyone, welcome to the part 3 of basic Linux administrator commands tutorials. As you can see, I have now installed a GUI. The reason being is it allows us to see the commands more clearly in the videos, and somebody watching the videos on a mobile phone can actually see the commands clearer. I use the following command to install the GUI. Additionally, and what it did, it just gave me a list of things and I just pressed yes and it finished. Once it finished, I rebooted and that's it. Now let's get to know the Yum packet manager a little bit better. So what is Yum? Yum is the Yellow Dog updater, and it's a free and open source command line package manager utility. And what it does, it allows us to install and remove software onto the system using the command line interface. Let's start off by listing package names from repositories. So we're going to type in yum list. So you can see there's a lot of them. Now let's list the available packages by using the command yum list available. Great. So what else can we do? We can also list the kernel. We wanted to find out a bit more about any of the packages. We type in yum info nano. So what it does, it tells the name, the version, release, and so on. To view dependencies, a list of a package, type in yum deplist nano. And those are the libraries it uses to run. We can also use yum to search for packages. So we're going to type in yum search nano. Great. GIMP is a piece of software which allows people to edit and draw pictures. Press yes. Now the GIMP is now installing. Excellent. Now to remove software that's already been installed, we type in yum remove GIMP. We can also do system-wide update by typing in yum update. I won't be doing an update at the moment. We can also update a single piece of software by doing yum update and typing in the name of the software. We can also install packages locally by typing in yum local install name of the package .rpm. Now that we know how to install, upgrade, and remove software packages, let's learn a little bit more about networking. So the first thing we can see, this machine is called localhost. Let's change that, and we can do so using the hostnamectl command. So at the moment you can see this machine doesn't have a static hostname. So let's give it one. We do so by typing hostnamectl set hostname, and let's call it main server. Now if we run the hostnamectl command, we can now see it's called main server. Now let's find out the IP address of this machine. So we type in IP space A, and that's for the active connections. Now if we look here, this is just a loopback. Now the next one we need to look to is this one. This is the name of the network interface, and we can see the IP address is that. So let's make it static to make sure it's always that one. Now this doesn't tell us the gateway that we use to access the internet at the moment. So to find out the gateway, let's use a trace route command and see where it exits. Okay, you can see the gateway address. We stop the command, and now let's make this IP address permanent. For that, we're going to use nmcli command. And what it does, it allows us to control the network manager in CentOS. So let's get going. So let's modify the connection. And now the name of the interface, which in case is ENS33. We tell it what protocol we want to change. And then we give it an IP address, followed by the broadcast. Okay, now this IP address is now permanent. Next thing we want to do is tell it what gateway to use. So let's go. We're just going to use the gateway that previously has been assigned to this machine. Great. Now let's tell it the location of the DNS server. Now we're going to use multiple DNS servers. In this case, we're going to make it look up itself and then look at the public Google server. Now let's set it the DNS search base. And we're going to type in the name of the server, which is called main server. Now finally, let's make sure that this IP address is never updated automatically. Now, in the next step, we're going to reload this network interface. And we want it to come back online. Great, let's verify the IP address. Perfect. Now let's look at this interface ENS333 in more detail. Now let's verify that we can resolve DNS queries. Great. Now let's have a look at this command called dig. If everything is working okay, it should give us a really nice output. Awesome. Now, if we want to disable IPv6 protocol, this is what we do. Type in grubby. Now let's verify the kernel parameters. Now let's reboot the server. Now let's check that IPv6 has disappeared. Awesome. Now let's learn about some commands that are a bit more system related. So the first command we're going to learn is called top. What top does, it provides a dynamic real-time view of running system. So it tells us it tells us stuff about memory, tells us which commands are running, tells us which user is running them, and it tells us how much system resources it's using. The next command we're going to look into is called ps3. And what it does, it shows running process as a tree. So you can see how they're related. And for example, if we look at this line here, we can see that this is the session that's providing us with a GUI. Now the command ps-aux will list all the current processes that are running. And if we look at the table it produces, we can see the user that's running it, we can see a process ID number, and we can see how much CPU time and memory is using up. Now this section here tells us the total virtual memory, and this tells us the resident set size, the portion of RAM occupied by the process. And of course you can see what command is. We can also run another command called psaxjf. Now what this does, it displays the running process in hierarchical view. So let's have a look. Now if we wanted to find out what process a certain user is using, we can do so by typing in ps -U, name of the user, small u, name of the user again, and a u. And this is the process that Rochelle is running on the system at the moment. Now if we wanted to terminate any of the process that user is currently using, we do so by using the kill command. Now kill command has a lot of different options that we can use to either restart or we can actually kill the process completely. The two most popular that are used is sig kill and sig terminate. Now let's kill one of the processes that Rochelle is running. So we're going to use a kill command, argument -9, and we're going to type in the process ID. In this case, let's just stop her from running the top command. Now let's verify that's the case. Great. The next command we're going to look into is called systemctl. And it's a utility which is responsible for examining and controlling the systemd and the service manager. Now let's list all the units that are active on the system. As you can see, the list is fairly long. To get a status of a certain service, we type in systemctl status and name of the service. And we can see CUPS is running. Now let's stop the CUPS service. We do so by typing in systemctl stop CUPS. Now let's check the status of it now. We can see it's not running. To start it up, we just do the following. Start CUPS. Let's check. And we can see it's active and running. Now let's say we wanted to disable the CUPS service. We do systemctl disable CUPS. And this means it will not be getting started on the startup. To enable it, we just change to enable. We can also determine which services have failed. So we do so by typing in systemctl list units all state failed. We will end the tutorial right here and we can catch up in part 4.